Hi, welcome to Office Hours with Dr. Doug. I'm Dr. Doug, and I'm going to give you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to peek into the mind of a professional trader. It's something that really has never been done before, and I make my living and my career working with professional traders all the time. So what I've done here is I've brought a professional trader on set with us today to interview and ask him some questions. Today, we have Mark Moskowitz. Mark's a professional trader for 18 years, ran his own hedge fund, and was a former client of mine a couple years ago. And I've asked him as a favor to come on the show and talk about some things. So welcome, Mark. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Doug.
So some of the questions that I want to ask you, Mark, today, we're going to talk about, it's going to be a two-part series, but part one I want to dig into today. You talk about a daily trading plan. Tell me more about that. You said there are 4 parts to the trading plan. There's the pregame, the early open, the midday, and the late day. Can you tell me more about your pregame plan and what that really is?
Sure, Doug. The pregame part of the day is really one of the more important sessions of the day. That is the part of the time where we do all of our preliminary work. We look at charts. We decide what stocks we're going to trade for the day. We're looking for levels of support and resistance that are on the charts. We also want to make note of any market-moving news that might be coming out, any news at 8:30 or 10 o'clock, if the president's going to come on. We want to have an idea of anything that might shock us throughout the day.
What about the early open? What do you do during the early open?
The early open, that is when we start to do some of our order entry.
And what time of day would this usually be?
We start that around 8:30, 8:45. Okay. That's going to go all the way through to about 11, 11:30.
Okay.
And we are looking for signs, again, of support and resistance. We're looking to make sure that when we enter orders, we're doing it with the most amount of upside and the least amount of potential loss.
Okay.
We're trying to put as many factors on our side as we possibly can get.
Okay. How about the midday? What time does that usually occur?
The midday starts at 11:30. It's when the market starts to get real quiet.
Right.
Volume dries up. This is a good chance for us traders to refresh our minds, look back and see what happened during the morning, see what we need to improve for the afternoon session, and just take stock of what's going on. If we do make any trades, it's typically very light volume trades, and we're just looking to get some lunch, get refreshed, and you get our game plan going for the afternoon session.
What about the late day? What happens during the late day?
This is a great session of the day because we have a lot of information now from the previous few hours that we were trading. So we have good levels, we understand where we're going to be entering, where we're going to be exiting, and we've got a good chance to see if our plan is working throughout the day.
Okay. Now, out of those 4 parts, which do you think is the most critical to your psychological confidence building throughout the day?
Well, without a doubt, having that pregame session planned perfectly really gives you that psychological edge that traders need, because once you know what your maximum losses, what your potential gains are, it gives you that good confident feeling, gives you that feeling that you can really work your plan throughout the day.
Okay. And then let's say you make mistakes throughout the day. If you ever have a situation where you get caught up in you're in the midday but you're thinking about the pregame, or you're in the late day and you're thinking about the midday. Does that ever happen to you as a trader?
Of course. I mean, being a trader, you have to be ready for anything to happen. You're going to get without your comfort zone, you're going to be inside your comfort zone, and you've got to be ready for that. Best thing to do, take your time, relax, maybe get flat for the day, and give yourself 10, 15 minutes to recoup.
And do you do any kind of post-game wrap-up journaling at the end of the day?
Without a doubt. That's part of our late day session. We sit around, we figure out what worked for the day, start to formulate ideas for tomorrow, get an idea of if we're overtrading, if we're not trading enough, and how our ideas are working.
Great. Thanks very much, Mark. Look, next week we're going to talk about, if you don't mind, we're going to be discussing entry levels and exit levels and how you come about deciding at what point it's time to get into trades and to exit trades. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Today.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Doug. Thank you for joining me for Office Hours with Dr. Doug.